Hi Virgo, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. So this is going to be your love and spirituality reading for the rest of February, and this is for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And sorry, my eye is really acting up, and that plays a role in your reading, so I'll get into that in a second. But like I was saying, this is for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And I'll also be doing an extended video, so make sure you check the description box when you're done watching this. Now, on to my eye hurting, my left eye. What I noticed in the past couple of days, that there's been numerous occurrences where my left eye will start hurting when I think about the Virgo reading. And also I was at an event, and some lady was just randomly like, oh my god, my eye is hurting, is there something in it? And it was like her left eye. And then I logged onto social media and somebody was saying that they're in the hospital because something, and they don't know what it was, got caught in their eye, and it happened to be their left eye. And I watched this spiritual YouTube channel called Off the Left Eye, so I knew that all of that played a role in the Virgo reading, because like I said, all of these things happened while I was kind of thinking about the Virgos, and when I was just preparing for this reading, it all kind of came together. So basically, the left eye in terms of spirituality represents kind of like the veil being taken off of your eyes in order for you to see things from a higher perspective. So I think that a lot of you are undergoing some type of spiritual awakening, and you're seeing things in a more spiritual light. So you're seeing them from this higher perspective and becoming very enlightened through this experience. So I feel like some of you could be experiencing like a Kundalini awakening. I've seen that online with other tarot readers. It's specifically the Virgos that have been undergoing this Kundalini awakening, or just like the spiritual ascension. And I feel like a lot of you in a past reading, it came up that a lot of you are not very satisfied with life, or you're just not very satisfied with the material world. And that usually does happen when we start to spiritually ascend. The material world will just start to become very just very unimportant to us. Like the things that we used to think were so important, like, you know, money or popularity and things like that, they start to just seem very superficial, and we start to search for the deeper meaning in life. So I feel like a lot of Virgos are going through that at the moment. Also, for Virgos, I get a lot of cross watchers for the Virgo readings, and I can always feel it. So if you're cross watching for Virgo, there's really no need to, because the way that my videos are set up, if the person that you are wanting to know about doesn't watch my videos, then their energy wouldn't come up in the reading. But sometimes if you're cross watching and you hear a message that sounds like it can be for you, then it could be that you're meant to hear that message. So that was a long intro. Let's get into your cards, Virgo. Ten of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, and also the Queen of Cups. So I feel like a lot of you, this is like a repeat message of you being very focused on your future and really wanting to build an empire of some sort, wanting to be very financially stable, and really working hard towards your goals. Virgo is a very hard-working sign. Once they put their mind to something, they usually get it done, no matter how long it takes. But with this coming up, along with the Queen of Cups in reverse, I'm feeling like the things in life that you once thought were going to make you very happy and emotionally fulfilled, you're now seeing that they are not going to fulfill you in the way that you thought. It's like the celebrities who, you know, they climb to the top of their field, and when they get there, they're like at the top of their craft, and they just feel lonely and depressed, and they don't understand why. And that's because they spent a lot of time working on their external world and very little time working on their internal world, working on their emotions, working on, you know, being connected to a higher purpose or a higher power. So I feel like some of you are experiencing that right now, where you are wanting to be connected to a higher power, or wanting to be like connected deeply to something. Like the superficial things in life are not really doing it for you anymore, is what I'm seeing. And that can also cause you to become a bit stagnant, because if you're not, like, if your heart's not in it, then you won't have the motivation and drive to go for it. And that's why I always tell people they need to go for careers or long-term goals that they feel emotionally connected to, that they feel has a very important purpose behind it, because then you will have the motivation every day to get up and keep on going. If If you're doing it simply for the fame or for the money or for your ego, then things will die down quite quickly. And that goes for a career. That also goes for relationships. If you get into a relationship just to feed your ego, then that relationship is superficial and it's not going to last long. So you could have been in a relationship like this, where someone could have been just kind of feeding their ego from you, or you could have been doing this to someone. It could go both ways, but either way, it's like the relationship remains surface level, and you're wanting something a bit more deep that you can put your whole heart into. So in the reverse, we have in the past position, we have the Knight of Cups, except it is in the reverse. So with the Knight of Cups being in the reverse, sorry, every time I do the Virgo readings, it's like I can't get my words out properly. With the Knight of Cups being in the reverse, it talks about an offer that was not made. And I'm getting like an offer that someone really, really wanted. Like they really wanted this person to come and make an offer to them emotionally and to start something over, but it never happened. So it could be you that did not give this offer to someone, or it very well could be that you were, you were waiting on someone to give you the offer and then they didn't, you know? Okay, sorry, I had to pause the reading for a second. I had a technical difficulty. But back to what I was saying, with this Knight of Cups, I feel like someone really wanted a new start with someone, or really wanted a reconciliation that didn't happen. I really do feel like this could have been you that did not want to restart the situation with someone. And I feel like you could have been emotionally connected to the person or to the situation, but it's like you were using your better judgment and you understood that even though you're emotionally connected to it, it's not going to work. Like if it didn't work the first time, then most likely it's not going to work the second or the third time, you know? So, but this could also be not just you, this could be the other person as well, so just take it as it resonates. But I just feel like there was something that there's a reconciliation that did not come into fruition, and it caused a lot of pain on both parties, actually. The Knight of Cups could also talk about someone who is kind of like a smooth talker, who they have no real intentions of building anything strong with you. It's like they want that emotional connection for the moment, but they can't give you anything long-term or stable, and that's probably why the situation had to end, or things didn't go well with the situation. These three cards that came up in the past position, I feel like they are the exact same cards that Gemini got in their reading. So go check out the Gemini reading if you have Gemini in your chart, or if you were dealing with a Gemini, there may be messages in that reading for you. So oof, God, I'm telling you, there's always some shit going on with the Virgo reading. Always some like little technical difficulties. But yeah, so the King of Swords is also here in the past position. So the King of Swords talks about someone who is more logic based. Like they use their mind instead of using their heart. And because it's in the reverse, that makes the energy even more intense. So you could have been dealing with someone who is very logical to the point where it's hurtful. It's like they are able to completely emotionally disconnect, and it's very painful for the person that they are dealing with. This could be you, or this could be the person that you were dealing with, so it could go either way, because there's also the Queen of Pentacles here. So one person in the connection is one who is more logical and who's kind of flighty, like they're in and out. They can't really make up their mind about what they want. They leave their partner feeling kind of indecisive, and then the other one wants something a bit more stable and a little more sturdy. But I feel like the other person in the connection is not very confident. So it's like even if they do want to build something sturdy, they kind of can't, because they don't feel good about themselves, or they're not solid within themselves, so they can't build something outside of themselves. So I hope that wasn't confusing. But it just looks like both people in the connection, no matter which one is who, one is you and one is the other person, and neither one were in the position to build something long-term and stable, because neither one had fully blossomed into the best version of themselves. You see, it's like they were still operating, you both were still operating from your shadow energy, meaning your lower level energy. So there were still things from your past and from their past that you did not fully heal from, and therefore there was no way that this could grow to be anything long-term or solid or stable, because there were a lot of things that still needed to be cleared and worked out. And I feel like this person is the person that triggered your spiritual awakening in order for you to clear those things out. So the Six of Swords is also here. the Six of Swords talks about moving into calmer waters. I feel like even though that ending to that situation was a bit painful, at the end of the day, you knew that you had to do it for your peace of mind. I feel like whatever situation you were in, it was going to keep on cycling and keep on repeating itself over and over and over again. And someone had to take the initiative to walk away, or someone had to take the initiative to just move into a more peaceful energy, because if not, it would have kept on going. Usually with toxic relationships, they last long because both people are so willing to feed that toxic energy, and it takes one of the people to be a bit more mature in some way and disconnect and walk away from it. Or if it's not that they're more mature, it could be that, you know, they moved away for a reason, like the universe put something in that path in order for one person or both people to be forced to walk away, so you won't be in this repeating cycle of toxicity and nonsense. Because there is a path that you're on right now that is very important, that you are learning a lot of lessons on, and that you are ascending on. It's like every stop that you make on this path is for a reason, and it's for the purpose of spiritual growth. So you can't afford to stay stuck at a stop for too long, because you have to keep it moving and go to your next experience where you're meant to learn something. So I feel like that's what happened in this past situation. My eye is really bothering me. Okay. So the Eight of Swords is also here, and the Eight of Swords is in the reverse. So the Eight of Swords talks about removing yourself from a mental prison. I feel like a lot of you, you're doing quite well, because these energies are in the reverse. So that means that you were in a mental prison at some point, but you're choosing to not allow yourself to be stuck there. And that's something that Virgos are really good at. They're really good for knowing how to move on, or how to shift their focus. So I feel like this is definitely your energy of shifting your thoughts and shifting your focus in order for you to move away from this kind of heavy energy. I feel like one thing that could have really been keeping you stuck is you kind of overly criticizing yourself, kind of beating yourself up for what was done in the relationship, or kind of beating yourself up for the fact that you failed in the relationship, or feeling like a failure, feeling like you started something that you could not finish, or feeling like you started something that didn't end up well. And you can really beat yourself up over the thought that you weren't good enough for something, or that you, like, no matter how hard you try, it didn't work out the way you wanted it to. So some of you are needing to stop beating yourself up so much, because there are divine energies at work here, and sometimes you have no control over what goes on your path. Yes, we are all in control of our life, we're all in control of our path to an extent, but sometimes there are certain experiences that you absolutely need to come across, and you need to happen, that your higher self has kind of pre-planned or orchestrated in order for you to learn a certain lesson, or in order for you to grow in a certain way. So anybody that you have been meeting on this path, they have been assisting you in some way, shape, or form. And I'm not talking about if someone like brutally abused you. I'm not saying that at all. I will never say that oh, you know, you were terribly abused and there was a purpose behind it. I don't like saying stuff like that. But what I'm saying is that, you know, failed relationships, you know, hardships, strenuous friendships, things of that sort, I feel like all of them were kind of preparing you to become the person that you were meant to be. And I feel like you are really removing yourself from this mental prison that the past has kept you stuck in for a very long time. So you are moving into calmer waters, and there are happier days ahead. I do still feel kind of a cold energy from this reading, though. There's not a lot of color here. There's a lot of blue here and gray. So I feel like some of you are just in this kind of depressed energy, or there's like this gray cloud that's hovering over you right now. But I feel like that is going to pass as time moves on, especially because you are undergoing a spiritual awakening, and now you are going to be fully connecting with your soul mission and your actual purpose. And once you step onto your path and onto your purpose, that black cloud or that heavy energy will start to dissipate. Is that the word? It will start to disappear, and you will start to feel much better about life. So the Four of Swords is also here in the reverse. So the Four of Swords talks about being in a state of rest, and it's in the reverse, so that means you're not resting, you're not feeling peaceful. And like I said, I feel like I'm picking up that energy in just the colors of these cards. It's like a lot of gray, a lot of thinking, a lot of gray. So it's like this dark kind of cloud like energy that's falling over you. And again, like I said, I feel like it's just in the nature of a Virgo to really want things to be perfect or to get as close to perfection as you possibly can. So some of you are not resting, or you're just feeling very anxious because you could be still beating yourself up over that past situation, or you're anxious because you don't understand why you don't feel happy in life or why you don't feel fulfilled in life. And like I said, this is going to be something that passes once you are spiritually ascending and you start stepping into your purpose and onto your soul path. That is going to start to dissipate some, and that's going to start to die down some. But in the meantime, I feel like you should do whatever you can to calm your nervous system down. So 4-7-8 breathing exercises, meditation in the morning, meditation before bed, a lot of self-soothing, anything that can calm your body down, breathing deeply whenever you are very upset or anxious, controlling your breathing. It's like anything that you can do to self-soothe is going to be very helpful to you in the near future, because I just feel like this very anxious Virgo energy. It's funny because I'm thinking about a thread on Twitter where they were talking about how Beyonce is always high, and I laughed because I was like, of course she's always high, like she's a Virgo. And Virgos are so they're so anxious. I'm laughing because I know like 2 Virgos like this. They're so anxious because they want everything to be perfect. They're so self-critical. Like, they take their work so seriously. It's like, how else would a Virgo unwind except to like smoke some weed or something? Like, like they need that self-soothing in some way. So I'm not shocked that Beyonce smokes weed. It's not surprising to me. If anything, that is probably a very healthy thing for her. So yeah, there's probably a need for you to find ways to really soothe yourself. I'm not saying that you have to start smoking weed, obviously, but you do need to calm your nervous system down and try to control those anxious, repetitive, self-critical thoughts. So that is it, Virgo. I'm going to extend this reading, and I'll leave the link to that in the description box down below, so we'll take a deeper look into it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys over on Vimeo. Bye.